Nice to be with Jason Powers again. Nice to be with all of you. Jason, you didn't make the early first pitch today like I did at Tropicana Field. And for those of you that said, well, I tuned in and it was already in the fifth or the sixth inning, what happened? It's not a bad thing. Literally, I'm driving away from a completed professional sporting event at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, had the whole day in front of me, and sure enough, then we learned Paredes had been dealt as well. We learned Adam was dealt before the game. The Rays had made two other big moves with Arozarena and Eflin earlier in the weekend. Jason, people are upset. Do you like or dislike what the Rays are doing?
Well, first and foremost, Todd, I missed you at the gym this afternoon too. You know, you were at the game. I missed you at the gym. So, but if you look at the Rays, I know a lot of people have varying degrees of feelings about the ownership group and Sternberg and all that stuff. But if you look at it from a strictly baseball perspective this year, I think the Rays did a really good job in doing what they did. Zach Eflin was slated to make $18 million next year. He wasn't going to be he was going to be a fourth or fifth starter on that pitching staff. Arozarena, I know he still has one more year till free agency. They're probably not re-signing Arozarena even this time next year, to be honest with you. So from those two moves, I think you have to applaud them. Again, shedding payroll is not the best thing in this market, but if they reinvest the payroll of Zach Eflin maybe into some offense, whether it's in the offseason or first of next year, I think that's a good thing. And for you to get the San Diego Padres best prospect for Jason Adam, a 33-year-old setup man, I think that's a great move. They get 3 prospects for Jason Adam. The one move I would question would be Paredes to the Cubs for Morel. I know Morel is a major league starting third baseman, but to me, that'd be the one move I would question because they have control over Paredes for a few more years. He's a rising player. That would be the one move that I would question with the Rays. Why did they trade Isaac Paredes?
Yeah, Jason, I understand what's going on here. So it's not my place, honestly, to say that I like or dislike it. All right? Because we can look back in a few years and see how this all works out. But let me talk about something that was actually brought up to me earlier this weekend by some people who listen to my podcast or listen to your podcast, Jason, and who watch this show. They said, Todd, you were the one guy who said all along that the playbook of building new stadiums and arenas says most of the time you build it in the parking lot of the current stadium and arena, and you were right. Jason, you know what else that playbook says? You build a contending team for when you move into your new stadium. And Joe Sheehan and I worked together for years at ESPN. He's one of the more brilliant baseball minds out there. And in his newsletter breaking down the Arozarena trade, he talked about how, unlike you brought up with Jason Adam to San Diego, the Rays didn't get any of Seattle's top-end prospects. They got guys who are going to be good 3 to 4 years or so down the road. Jason, what happens in 3 to 4 years? That's when the Rays want to be building their next World Series contender so they can maximize new revenue in all sorts of ways moving into this proposed new baseball stadium as long as the county gives them the green light. So again, I'm not going to say I like it. I'm not going to say I dislike it. I'm just going to say I understand it. And there may be more to come. For Jason,
real quick point.
Jason,
I know let's be objectively baseball objective. They weren't winning the World Series this year. They're not going to win the World Series. So to me, if you can get some prospects to your point, for 3-4 years down the road, when they are opening that new ballpark, it's smart baseball management.
Yeah, just because you're a few games out of the third wild card doesn't mean you're that close to winning a World Series. For Jason, I'm Todd. Back to the studio.